Not long ago, we did a couple of episodes on collectible games. Today, we're gonna follow it up with some digital collectible games you might not have tried. Now, even more than usual, I don't promise these are good, just that they show you that some great things can be done with the format. None of these games really deliver on something deeply meaningful or intellectually resonant, but they at least show us different ways to integrate collectability. Also, this episode's gonna be focused 100% on mobile and tablet games, partly because that's where a lot of these games are, but also because James has been focusing a lot on those platforms for work lately. Here we go. Fantasica. For all the complaints that we had about Rage of Bahamut, here's a game by the same company that's basically an idea that James has been trying to pitch for years. A collectible tower defense game. Of course, there's still a lot more this game could do with this idea. A lot more. But it does at least present an interesting concept for others to run with. Tyrant Unleashed. This is one of the most interesting modifications to the standard CCG that you'll see on a tablet. It uses a system that would be far too unwieldy with just pen and paper, but in a digital format, it shows us a true alternative to the Magic-esque CCG structure we've been seeing for years. Puzzle and Dragon, and Puzzle Trooper. Imagine Pokémon meets Puzzle Quest, and then bring your expectations down a few notches. Now you've pretty much got the idea. Truth be told, these two games are so similar, I'm just combining them into a single entry, but if a collectible game where combat is activated through a match 3 system sounds interesting to you, grab one of these. To me, Puzzle and Dragon is thematically stronger, while Puzzle Trooper is a bit better mechanically and slightly less grindy. Take your pick. Dragon Era. Did Puzzle and Dragon have too much puzzle in it for you? You want a game that's completely shameless about what it is? Well, Dragon Era is Puzzle and Dragon copied exactly, but I kid you not, they've replaced all the puzzles with literal slot machine spins. This one's so meta that I'm just gonna call it the Spec Ops of collectible tablet monster wrenching games. Life's better that way. The World of Mystic Wiz, Quiz RPG. Alright, that title is a mouthful, but this one is kind of awesome. It's someone taking the old Quiz and Dragon gameplay and throwing collectible, upgradable critters in there. For those of you who don't remember the old Quiz and Dragon arcade game, basically, think of the gameplay as a standard RPG, but your party's moves are activated by answering Trivial Pursuit-style questions. It's a little grindy, but it's a lark, and great to play with friends. Rev Ersi Quest. Okay, this one isn't collectible in quite the same way because it doesn't use randomized booster packs, but it might be the most radical and interesting of these from a design perspective. If you want an idea of Rev Ersi Quest, think of Coldcept mashed with Rev Ersi, where the battles are played out with collectible miniatures as Rev Ersi pieces. It's kinda bonkers, but completely fascinating. Injustice. You probably knew this one was coming. I don't think they use collectability well here, at all. And in fact, I think they only do a marginal job at delivering a touchpad fighting game, but it does clearly demonstrate that using collectability doesn't limit us to merely RPGs and strategy games. Order and Chaos Duels. If you're looking for a polished, traditional CCG that allows you to pretty much get everything in it without too much grinding, Order and Chaos Duels is your ticket. Honestly, there's not much here that'll surprise you if you're familiar with CCGs, just some subtle adjustments to known mechanics, but it's pretty solid. If you want a CCG on the go, this may be your best bet on a tablet, even with the bigger names already available on the platform. And finally, Assassin's Creed Recollection. Another solid CCG, but this one goes a little outside what you might be used to in the paper game landscape. It chooses to highlight the unique nature of being on a digital device by being a real-time CCG. Now, it's not quite as radical as it sounds. While players both play at the same time, many of the main actions like attacking and getting resources happen on fixed intervals, so in some ways it boils down to simply playing a CCG on a shot clock. But the real-time elements give it enough punch that if you're a fan of CCGs, and more specifically CCG design, you should definitely check this one out. Alright, that about wraps it up for tablet and mobile collectible games. For those of you who prefer the good old-fashioned paper CCGs, rest assured, we'll get to them too, someday. See you next week!